In this video, we're going to be talking about the driver tools or the floating tools. The floating tools are this tab over here. Um, when you open up your notebook software, it's normally the default would be over to the left. And we can move this up and down in order to move the toolbar out of the way of other things that we want to be able to look at. Or again, we can move it to the right or the left depending on where we want to see it. We can hide it, we can show it. Um, One of the other aspects of this is the other toolbars is that we can move them up and down as well, depending on your preference. And again, it really one does not affect the other as long as it's set up the way you want it to. Now this is the default tab or the default configuration for our tools. But the thing that we need to keep in mind is this. The floater tools are really for something that we want access to quickly. One of the things that has changed in the notebook software for version 11 is that, and we have all these pen tools at this point in time. We have different pen types, um, calligraphic pen, the crayon, the highlighter, the creative magic, and the shape recognition pen. Now, what we'll what we need to keep in mind is that do we need to keep these pens here with the fact that we have access to them quickly up here? And it would be a yes or no depending on how you're going to use them. If I want to configure, I can configure this pen to be any color I want, but I could also do it up here. And if I want to change something or have a color available to me on a regular basis, I should say, and I want to change that color, and let's make it orange in this case, and let's save our tool properties. And if we come up here, and at this point we're just going to put, I don't know, test. So we've written in our ink that we've selected over here, and again, we're not going to probably want more than one pen over there because we have the ability to change it up here. The other pen then, so if we're going to decide that we don't want it there anymore, we're going to have to open up our configuration or we're going to customize our floating tools. So we're going to drag this pen and we're going to put it over here because we don't want it on our floating tools anymore. And I'm going to click, well, since this is open, let's go ahead and figure out what we do want available to us over there. So we have our default settings over here, and I've removed one of the pens. We have a highlighter tool over here, and again, we have the highlighters up here available to us as we need. And so I'm only going to, in the past I've put, a couple different colors, 2 or 3 different colors over here. Don't necessarily need it. The eraser tool also available up here nowadays. The right click tool is good to have available for a couple different reasons. So if you're up at the board and you can click on the right click button, or you have the ability to click on this over here. So either way, it's depending on your preference on how you want to do that. Opening up the notebook software, this is just going to open up another notebook software window. And since it's available in our startup and in our programs in general, and I don't often open up more than one notebook tool at a time, so I'm going to remove that and then I'm going to put it back over there. We have the keyboard tool, which is great. The video player tool would be nice to have over here, and we'll take a look at that at some point. And we have print screen. I wouldn't often use that. How come my video player didn't show up over here? Okay, here we go. One of the other tools that I like over there is my line tool, although we have lines up there as well. Lines are always good to have available because, again, if I want to customize it for what I'm using it for, I can click on it quickly at that point in time. Area capture is always a great thing to have available to us. The freehand capture I'm going to keep over here as well. The full screen capture I'm not putting over there because I have it available over here, the screen capture. The recorder is what I'm using right now. That is always a nice little plus to have. And lastly, the most important thing that I would like to have is a calculator as a math teacher. And I usually put them in order of how often I use them. So I'm going to drag my, I just removed my right click tool. Let's put that back. I want my right click tool there. So I have my video recorder, my player, my keyboard. I have a calculator. And so at this point in time, I have now set up my floating tools as I want. The various tools here, if I click on the pen tool, notice that the pen tool is here. I click on the arrow tool, my pens go away, and this is now highlighted. So I slide down here, I click on the pen, my pen tools open up. I click on my highlighter, and my highlighter tools open up. Now, since I have the ability to maneuver these um, highlighters up here, there's often times where I just want to be able to have a highlighter tool that's available that will give me the option to keep something different from what's up on my toolbar up here, and it'll stay that way as long as I save my tool properties. And if I come over here and I highlight, beautiful. We have our line tool, and notice it's set up again very much like the tools up here. And I could configure and change any one of these lines. So I click on the green arrow line and say, since it already exists up here on my toolbar, I'll come down here and I'm going to configure that. And now I'm going to change my line style to, um, let's keep it, let's make this one a blue one, a blue dash line. And I like the thickness of it. The thing I'm going to change in this point, I want a different dash line. I want my ends to be different than what they are. We're going to do points at the, so I can do line segments instead. I'm going to save my properties and then I'll draw a line. And I could do that with any of these. So I clicked on the red line, come back over here. I can configure my red line. It's good the way it is, but I don't like, since I have a red line up on my other toolbar up here, I don't want red down here. I'd prefer some other color, so I'll make it some aqua, or I don't know. I'm not really good with my colors. Turquoise. So we'll save our properties, and now I have a line tool. And I have my aqua line, or teal line, I don't even know my, again, I'm not really good with the color thing. So I click on my tools. I could also change, once I've created that, I could change what my line looks like if I decide, oh, no, I'd rather change it to a smaller line because it's covering up something I need to see. The eraser tool, again, located up here and over here, and the three options that we have up here are also available down here. We have a screen capture tool, and the screen capture tool, what that does is, well, it's not a screen capture, this is the area tool. I highlight it. Interesting, something weird's going on here. And it should give me a picture of what I just covered, and guess what? It did not do it as I anticipated. So let's try it from over here. Screen capture. Get my screen capture from here. Go back to my software, and here is a picture of what I just captured. One of the things that I just noticed is not working as anticipated is the fact that I'm getting a lot of these lines in here. This is not usual. So I'd like to disregard the actual problem with this right now and continue moving on a little bit. Now notice that if I want to copy something, I pick an area tool, I get the area that I'm picking. And if I go back and I decide, well, I don't want that whole area as a square, I can pick the freehand tool. And with the freehand tool, I pick the stuff that I want, and it'll give me a line as I'm doing this so that I see where I'm at. And again, this isn't, I'm kind of wondering what's going on because it's not giving me the kind of uh, picture not the picture itself, but the results of when I'm circling. It's not giving me the results that I had anticipated at that point in time. Notice that this one's clean, which is good. Um, Hopefully that in the future I won't be having that kind of problem with the capture tools. We'll see how it goes. So I have my Pythagorean triples, and if I remember correctly, we talked about a little bit about the Pythagorean triples already too in our table discussion. We have a calculator tool. We click on the calculator and we have our calculator. We'll be discussing the Smart Ink at another point in time, which is a great tool. It will be a lesson of its own, but right now I just want to turn it off so that it doesn't get in the way. Now, with our calculator, we have different options. We can have a standard calculator. We have a scientific calculator. Being the math teacher that I am, I prefer the scientific view of the calculator. Um, Once I do some calculations, I can go ahead and cut and paste from my calculator tool. So 9 times 9 is 81. So I edit, I just do a copy, I come over here, and I can paste that into my software. Oops. There we go. And so 9 times 9 is 81. And so that's what's nice about the calculator too. I can move it to and from different places, and it comes in as text too. So if something doesn't can get figured right, or I want to change what it looks like, I can change that as well. So let's get this out of the way. The recorder tool is what I'm using now. And if you click on the recording tool, which I don't want to do at this point in time because it's already open, I get this. And I can record just as I'm doing now. The only difference is that if you pick this, the recording that you are going to be getting will not have any sound based on whether or not you have hooked up a microphone. So if you have a microphone hooked up, you'll be able to get volume into it. Otherwise, you will not be recording with sound. And I've used the recording tool to do lessons, and I have completed my lessons and posted them onto our school website so that students that are absent can use the videos for taking notes and catching up. So that would be the floating tools or the smart board drivers, and I hope you got a lot out of it. Thank you.